muffins all day watching like movies.
How's that then?
So this is a sign that I accidentally started my video last year of the NXN documentary by saying that you can't park at the golf course, which is actually true. We tried to go in and the security guard stopped us and gave us this instructions on how to get to the park and ride that I showed on my video last year. But there hasn't been hardly any rain all week. And last night there was quite a bit of rain, and it's raining at this time. So we're gonna go and check out and see how the course looks and make some measurements. So we stepped onto the golf course, and the grass, from what we can tell, feels way more firm than it has the last several years. So even with the rain that we had last night and today, this is gonna be a really fast day.
Oh yeah, these are for this year. Oh, these are sweet.
Sweet.
No, they're just race cards at the course.
Sometimes the best prescription is more cowbell.
Something else. These are all the same though, front and back.
So at 10 is the guys race, 11:35 is the girls, 12:30 is the community race. Good to know. Wait, before I speak.
Oh, there's squishiness. This is the exact spot that I stood in last year, and I remember feeling like it was an unstable ground. It is way better this year, even with the little bit of water that we have. We got here early enough because we parked right next to the golf course that they're still doing the fine tuning on some of the flags, putting them up the rest of the way up. We have a way to quantify it. So in last year's documentary, you can see that this was almost full. Now there's just a little bit of water at the bottom. So it seems like there's a bit less water than normal. But currently on the surface, so we'll see how this works out. The closer I get to where we're actually going to race, the more I'm second guessing my decision of judging the water prematurely. There seems like there's a fair bit of water still around.
Well, Dad, this...
A cool thing that I hadn't seen in previous years walking along the path that leads to the start, it looks like all of the different runners got to sign something as a message. It's pretty sweet. I'm walking along with my son Peyton, and he's ran for Kamayakan for the last couple of years, and he'll be here today with me to do this documentary. I'm about to use this tape, and we're gonna use these flags that we got from Lowe's. We're gonna go and measure how far it is from the start all the way down there to the corner so we can do some science experiments. So it seems like the low spots with this rain, they're all collecting puddles. So in general, most of the turf isn't as squishy, but the low spots are full of water. So if you avoid the low spots, I think this year could be way faster than other years. And this area up here, last year when I walked up, you could see tracks from where the vehicles had gone through that were super deep and muddy. You can tell this year they're not. The tracks, while they're visible, it's not completely destroyed underneath where they've been. And we'll do some steps without sliding. So
this is a little different.
Never mind.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is like last year.
It's still soupy.
This feels like last year.
So here we are, Nike Cross Nationals 2019. Part of my science experiment is trying to get height measurements on all the runners. And so as a scale to measure the different heights, we measured from the base of this to the mounting point right there of this banner. And this banner is exactly 8 feet off of the turf, so we can get an estimate of how tall the runners are. So we're here at the start, and this is the expanse of how wide it is all the way over to there. And I think Kamayakan is going to be starting in one of these first few lanes next to the Northwest Boys. So we're going to measure the width of the stalls so we have an idea on that, and potentially the width all the way over to there.
Are you meaning like this to this?
So each of these little, I don't know what you call these, but the places where the teams stand is exactly 5 feet wide. So whoever measured these out did a really good job, because after the 20th one is exactly 100 feet. So we should be able to know exactly how long they all are by seeing how many are, because they very consistently did them, and it goes all the way over to 31. This is the position that Peyton remembers from starting, that they had to be behind the white line. So we're going to call that the beginning of the measurement towards the corner. Something that I hadn't considered before is that this fence isn't perfectly straight, so there's some waviness to it. To be consistent, we're going to keep the same distance from the fence the whole way, because if you look down there, if you were to follow a straight line, the straight line would lead there, but it comes up, pinches here, and then comes back along to the left. So this could be one of the first pinch points, and then it opens up. And it's something that I hadn't considered before, is if everybody's moving to the left and staying along the fence line, another source of compression happens when the fence jogs out towards the right. And I think that's where a lot of the people get tripped up, literally. So the low spots of this straightaway are the spots to avoid. And there's quite a few little low spots where the pockets of water all gather. 600 feet to this point, which is about that far from the start up to here. We still have about that far over there to go. Puddle that's there every year, and a lot of runners step in it because they're heading from the outside lanes trying to come over towards the corner, and so many people go through that and then have to go up this little hill. The par 5 sign is there. 700 feet is where we're at. We're kind of at an angle to it, so 700 feet would be pretty close to where that tree is that's by the par 5 sign. 800, and looking up, there's these set of little trees that look like they got planted, and so this tree right there is essentially 800 feet mark. This is 900 feet, looking around to see what's around. Looks like there's a green just off to the side, and 900 feet is probably be about right there compared to all of that. At 1,000 feet here, looking around to see what's around us, it's probably about right there past that last tree. Or another way to look at it, it's just past this little walkway for people to go by this last fence that comes over. 1,100, and looking over, there's some little markers over there at 1,100 feet. The stand is over there, and that is right there. So it's another 20 feet from the last measurement to here. I believe that's 1,120 to this. So we're past the tower now. This is 1,200, I believe. We're past the 3K mark and heading up towards the corner. So as you come up towards the corner, it goes uphill. So in addition to having it be compressed from the left and going up, everybody's coming from the sides. So I'm going to measure right up to the furthest point of the corner. 1,300 feet is right here to the apex of the corner, and we're going to measure to be the extended line of that straightaway as it comes out to see how far the corner totally is, but we're going to follow the natural running line. It's 1,341 feet 8 inches to the exact point that I said was along the extended line of that straightaway along the natural running line of the corner. This is totally an experiment, but I put in the safe spot exactly where that mark was that I just described in the form of that flag, which is directly underneath the other flags. This is a level of care that I had not anticipated occurs on the course. They're using these rollers and going over the low spots to try to get out the extra little bit of water before the races start. Right now it's 8:40, so you see some people that are around here getting the last minute preparations, opening up sections of fence that were previously closed off so that people can walk through and things like that. So that's the bus that takes people who want to park at the parking ride, and thankfully I got to park just down right there. By mistake, I think I filmed the wrong one earlier, but this is one of the other sand traps that had water last year, and it has less water. After the 1 mile, the course heads down there, down that hill, and then around the corner. I'm going to take this walking path to see what you could see if you head this way.
So some of the things I recognized from being here for the last 2 years was that this part of the course, while it seems like a very small part, and it's kind of secluded off from everyone else where you don't really have anyone cheering for you, but there's a lot of important stuff that happens here, where you have these 2 hills on either side where it gets a little bit difficult while you're in the middle of the race. You're about 1.5K in, 2K in, so it starts to get a little bit difficult, and if you went out fast, you're definitely going to feel it right here, especially when you hit those 2 hills, and especially at a national caliper race, going fast is inevitable. So this point is where it really separates the people who are meant to be here, and that's why you see whenever everyone comes out on the straightaway and comes out on the other side, that's why it's so spread out all of a sudden. Why it looks like, oh wow, these are the guys who are these are your top tier elite, and this is the rest of the field. So one thing that's kind of similar to all cross-country athletes is some of our training. We all similarly, I bet, especially when everyone here, everyone has hill training or speed workouts, and it kind of ends up being a part of you as a runner and as a person, is these hill workouts and these speed workouts where you really push yourself and you really try to extend. And another part that's significant to this course is that while no one's looking, and that's what separates a lot of these individual athletes, is when no one's looking, what are you doing? And so this part of the course is very unique and very, very important, and I think underappreciated.
So the camera stand is right over there. If there's any doubt that it's muddy, just look at the back of his warm-up and you can tell it's muddy. Need any more confirmation? So I've been looking for a trash can for my water this whole time and walking around all out there. Couldn't find a single trash can, but they have 2 of them right there. There's your film crew. See Rich Gonzalez, Paul Swungard, probably doing the web broadcast. So this is, it's funny, 2 times I've gone to show somebody on the camera and couldn't see the person that I intended to show.
Nike is also all about gratitude, and we'd like to thank Glendoveer Golf Course for allowing us once again to use their beautiful course for today's meet. We want to thank the many Nike associates and Portland area.
I missed Dana Point from California because of some fogging issues in the rain.
Also from California, Newberry Park. Point from the Heartland region. Also from the Heartland, Mounds View.
looks like somebody didn't show up on time. So if you see my hand out here, I'm trying to shield the lens from the rain. Hopefully I do a good job in that I'm only seeing it on my viewfinder and not actually on the lens.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Littleton from the Southwest region. Also welcome from the Southwest District, Denver. Also from the Southwest, Draper. From the Northeast region, Lincroft. Also from Northeast, Rhode Island. From the Midwest region, St. Charles.
Hey, St. Charles! Way to go!
Also from the Midwest region, Elmhurst. From the Midwest, Wheaton South. From the South region, Eastwood. From the South region, the Woodlands. From the South, Carroll. From the Northwest region, Portland. Also from the Northwest, West Kennewick. region, Birch Hills. From the New York District, Manlius. From the Southeast, Crozet. From the Southeast, Percival.
You get a sense when looking at some of the teams that they have an air of confidence that some of the other teams might not have.
Qualifiers from the Heartland region.
It might take longer to announce these guys. They didn't even announce anything about them individually. There was a long pause and then they just had them run. The announcements for these guys are way different than in years past.
Individual qualifiers from the Northeast region.
I wanted to show them all, see their faces, because each one of these guys deserves to be here. It's not just the fastest guys that they often show at the front of these races that should be on film and remembered. Every single person who's here deserves to be on.
Individual qualifiers from the New York region. From the Southeast region.
It's hard to film from the top of this because every time people walk it jars it, so sorry about that.
The South region.
My shoulders are starting to get tired.
Qualifiers from the California region.
Because in addition to holding the camera up, my other left arm is trying to shield the lens of the camera from the rain. So it's an extra level of difficulty I haven't experienced in previous years.
Individual qualifiers from the Southwest region. Individual qualifiers from the Midwest region.
Wow, there are many. Good job, Midwest. The legions of Zoom.
And finally, let's welcome the individuals from the Northwest region.
Recognize these guys because I'm from the Northwest as well. Just met some guys from Banks High School. Where are you guys from?
We are from Banks High School.
And what city?
City of Banks. It's about 15 minutes north of Forest Grove, and from this specific location, it's about 40 minutes away.
Tell us about your group. How many people came?
So we're a pretty small percussion group, one of the smallest in the state. We have about 10 people max. Don't know the exact number because I don't count them.
We have 14.
Whatever, same difference. Basically,
How did you guys get chosen, or did you volunteer?
you have to talk to that guy for that answer. Mr. LeBlanc, he's over there.
All right, it's good to talk to you. I just unintentionally did an experiment. I was starting to run to go over to the corner, and I slipped and had a nice fall. So I'm nice and muddy now, but I was heading over to the corner to get into the spot because everybody's heading over there for the race. So after finishing the rest of my run, I'm back over to exactly quarter mile, or not quarter mile, but exactly to the measurement that I mentioned before that we had on camera, and then I'll be able to back calculate how fast the people are starting. So something I hadn't had experienced before was my stool actually went through the soil this time. Something happened to the 3K sign, so that obvious marker is going to change its location probably by the time it gets put back up. So I had to change locations because the previous location where I was at over there, the soil was too soft and my stool kept sinking in, and the view was, even with the stool, I couldn't see what I wanted to see. Sounds like the same girls last year. Sorry, I realized that was rude. Shouldn't have said that. So this is going to be hard to film because I'm going to have to film it in my hand, but because of all of the people with the umbrellas, there's an extra layer of challenge I hadn't anticipated. So I'm trying to avoid getting water on the camera and also trying to film, but I have this extension with the tripod that allows me to go way out further than I would otherwise be able to see. So hopefully with that combination I'll be able to see what I'm looking for. The rain, even for Portland standards, just picked up within the last 5 minutes. So if there was any doubt that it was raining before, it is definitely raining. They're doing their walk-bys now. So this is what it looks like on the other side of the straightaway. Last year I was behind the start. This year there's a fog and rain, which makes it really hard to see all the way from down here. I can't see the starter, I guess. You can see it though. There it is. I'm going to zoom out and then stick out my extension.
History, but I think really at this point it's Nico Young's race to lose. He has to have misjudged this a little bit for either of these two guys to have a chance to come back and get him.
So Josh Methner there in second.
And this part of the course is really tough because it's just a slight drag uphill after you did those two big steep uphills, and you've got so far to go because they're going to come right back through this area without a K to go.
He's doubled his margin now. He's about 7 seconds ahead of Josh Methner, currently in second. Methner and Shoppy. Big surprise there, currently in fifth. That is fourth. That's Anthony Grover out of California. Running the race of his life. Matt Strangio in the top 8 as well.
Come back to him shortly, but right now it is Nico Young still with the lead. He has advantaged himself now from 3 seconds at the 1 mile mark to now 8 seconds as they go over the 2 mile timing mats with Methner in second, Shoppy, then Holland. That is your top 4.
And we touted Shoppy's tendency to negative split his races. I think we may have cursed him because Methner now is the one who's moving away into solo second as E.J. Holland and Grover look like they're moving quite well.
Well, I'm struck too by watching Nico. I mean, he looks as though he's in the final stages of the race, but he just continues to grind out the kilometers here and trying to put more and more space on himself and the rest of this star-studded field.
It's pretty clear that Nico's engine is still ahead of where his body is at, and when those two things finally meet up, it's going to be a scary thing.
Yeah, often in his big races, he does not look pretty in a sense. In that sense, his biomechanics are not quite smooth. He is so fit, doesn't matter.
So top 20 will reach All-American status here, so very much the race continues. As we look back to the front of the field, Josh Methner now a little bit separated from the rest of the field. E.J. Holland has now moved into third, and that's changed from just when they went over the 2 mile mat. And Nico takes a look over his left shoulder, just trying to gauge here a couple of nice opportunities on the latter part of this race course where he can get a sense of where the rest of the field is behind him as he makes the turn. And look at that gap he has now on the rest of the field. And the 2 mile split also gives us an update on the team scores, and not only is Nico Young currently leading on the individual side, but Newbury Park is leading the team scoring ahead of Draper, Temecula, St. Charles, and Rhode Island. That is your top 5 at this point. The defending champions from Purcellville not in the top 10. They are currently 11th with a little less than a mile ago. And another bit of collision, and the conditions on this course certainly deteriorating as they continue to run through the latter stages of the race, and those slips can't matter in the team race.
I think part
Cole Sprout running side by side.
So we're looking at Caleb Brown who's in third, we have Methner in second, and then of course up front, Nico Young, the man of the moment.
some of these kids that are right here in this trail pack are running probably the race of their lives, so they're probably in disbelief that they're actually as far behind as someone like Nico Young at this point in time, because we actually see Nico now coming up toward the terraces.
He'll come over that second rise. The drum corps will greet him, as well as the fans that have gathered here as he comes into view of the finish line.
Go, Josh.
Really just an incredible run. I mean, he was obviously the favorite, but to do it in this fashion, it's unprecedented in my book.
Incredible.
As he comes into the final few strides. In a race that brought together the deepest field of individuals in the country in 2019, Nico Young will reign supreme as Nike Cross Nationals champion.
Go, Josh!
And now we see the packs coming up right here. Big moves.
Huge pack trying to hunt down Methner, but I think he's going to hang on for second with a really, really great race.
So Methner will come in second. And then a very large group behind him, led by Caleb Brown with a very good performance in finishing in third. Strangio comes up for fourth. Connor Olson out of Littleton will round out the top five. E.J. Holland out of the Northwest region finishing in sixth.
And I think we just saw
Jace Ashbender.
Yeah, Jace Ashbender. I think he's probably fourth in the team score, so that's a great start for Newbury Park in their hopes to take home 2 titles today.
And when I'm just looking right here, you can see an Amoeba coming in at that finish line. I mean, it's just look at that sea of humanity coming right in, and that's where your team champion is going to be decided right here.
We had at least 2 Draper runners through, so I don't think any team has 3 yet, but I might have missed Temecula.
Newbury Park has 3 in.
Oh, and there's a whole host of Temecula guys across the line now, so it's going to be very tight for this team title.
We will, of course, hold the team scores until the
I wish I could get that picture.
award ceremony, so we can reveal the winners in front of the crowd here gathered at the finish line. But that sea of humanity continues to stream in here.
Newbury Park's real one liability was their 5th guy, who was behind the 7th guy from Temecula in the state meet merge. They did have, their 5 was pretty close to their 4. So the question is, did the 5 run great, or was the 4 a little bit off?
They're actually very good through 5, but they did have 1 kid off at the state meet. If they're all on, they're tough to beat because their 3 and their 4 have made improvements in the last few weeks.
Well, we expected it to be a very competitive battle for the team competition, as we'll await for the last of the competitors to come across the line. And a great shot of the steam rising here from the finish line. We're going to let Chris Derrick get off his headset and head down to try to catch up with some of these teams here as they try to reconvene with each other and again celebrate what was a phenomenal race here on the boys' side, and a team race that probably wasn't decided until the very last runner. My trophy presenter. Hello? Just waiting for Evan Jagger to join us. This mic isn't. All right, we're here to recognize our top 3 individual finishers. And Dale will give us the benefit of handing out the trophies here, which I believe are right behind him. Let's first congratulate in 3rd place, Caleb Brown. Our 2019 NXN runner-up this year, Josh Methner. Apparently the entire Midwest has come to cheer Josh on. And a gutsy move at the front of this race, and he comes away our 2019 NXN champion. Please congratulate Nico Young. Step in and talk with our winner here real briefly. Nico, that was a bold move at the front. Looked like you were running the final 50 meters the entire 5K. Was that the plan all along?
The plan was just to feel the race out and kind of go from there. I didn't really expect to take the lead, but it kind of just I just kind of got a good start, I guess.
Well, you've been fit all year. Your engine's been running. As you look back on this entire cross-country season, could you have written it any better?
I definitely couldn't have. No, it's the best that it could have been, yeah.
And, it's great to have an individual accomplishment, but now you're going to be waiting with the rest of your teammates. What are your thoughts about that team race?
I don't know, what the results are yet, but, yeah, I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, we're still working on making sure.
And then we just got rained at the last second there. The course seemed a bit slipperier than it's been in years past. I don't think we've ever seen as many kids fall as we did in that boys race.
I can confirm it was slippery.
Which I thought was both inspiring and also a sick burn on me for being old.
Top 3 teams have gathered over here, so I think they have the results now.
All right, we're going to bring them up in alphabetical order. Half the battle for me is to remember my ABCs now. Let's bring up Draper. Then we're going to bring up Newberry Park. And our last squad, Temecula. $35 points separating first through fourth place. 14 points separating these 3 squads for the NXN title. And do I have Galen back up here for trophies, or do I have Evan? Who's my trophy presenter? Evan's coming. Evan has come to join us. Healthy again and ready to do his job. Everyone, Evan Jagger coming up here in the front. Once you keep moving, guys. And Evan, they're right here. All right. Keep moving. So we'll first present our third place trophy with 142 points. Draper. Just 4 points separating first and second. Our 2019 NXN runners-up with 132 points. Temecula.
The region that they represent. First of all, we have Forest Park from the Northwest region. West Portland. North Spokane. And a final team from the Northwest, Central Oregon. Now let's move to the South region, Carroll. Also from the South, Prosper.
It's so hard to film here with all the umbrellas this year. You don't really get to see anything, even standing on top of the stool. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah?
Alright, well, fun fact of the day. It's raining outside, and it's stupid wet, and so like it's muddy enough that when you step down, it creates a suction on your feet.
This is what it's like walking around now, and that's what it was, and it's a little bit more now. It's way worse, and it's miserable out here and cold. It's so cold that I had to stick my hands up against my body to get them warm enough to be able to feel my fingers to put my gloves on.
Now, individual qualifiers from the Midwest region.
Super smart right there. They brought plastic to stick all their stuff on, and they can just wrap it up and protect it from all of this. So kind of like for the boys race, it had calmed down the rain, and now right before the race it's starting to increase the amount of rain again.
Let's go, Forest Park!
The announcer just said that after the race starts, the fans begin their race, and I can attest to that.
Crossing right now.
Guys for Runner Space have some pretty nice cameras.
Stuck.
Gonna hang out with Brian Dybel
No, that was like
and all sorts of the other guys, so it's pretty cool. Getting ready for them to come over to the 1 mile mark.
Yeah, true that.
The fog is quite a bit different than previous years. I can't tell how much water is on my lens and how much is on my viewfinder. So any surprise right there.
Keep the track clear, please!
Hey guys, off the course! Get off the course!
Keep the track clear, please!
Go, ladies!
Hey, Caitlin Tui and the rest of the field at the 1 mile mark. She's using this second mile to create some separation from that group, though they are still within striking distance here as the remainder of the field works their way down to the 10-minute mark. It's to the rise here on the race course.
Peyton told me that hill at that point of the race, that's where it hurts.
Championship with a couple of former champions. And that is just a really going match. We've seen that over.
Doesn't look as smooth as normal. Peyton says that he thinks something's wrong with her left leg.
She's talking. This is the second time. This is good. Because she did.
They're coming for her. The fact that she looked behind her makes me think that something's wrong.
Come on, Taylor, go get her! Now he's gonna go first.
Second place.
Looks like a lot of the field's coming now.
Probably the best challenge she's ever had these seasons. She's doing very well.
There we go, Henry! Arms! Stay tall!
As well as sees Orvalson coming up and trying to go ahead and keep Caitlin in view here.
And Torvaldsen is now making another move as they will now battle up, closing in on those last two rises of the hill. She is now taking control of second position and trying to make that strong move, and you can see that Ewart started to look behind as now we have a race coming into the final stretches of this race.
This is not over.
I don't know if it was that angle, but Caitlin Tui looks
Oh, look at that. They reeled her in. They have reeled her in. It's going to come right down to the finish.
I think
3 people in it.
no one ever would have thought would have happened right now.
Well, Caitlin Tui trying to find a gear to hold off the rest of the field.
It's close.
Oh, wow, look at this. They're coming right in tight.
Caitlin Tui trying to win a third consecutive Nike Cross National title.
They're making her work for it. She's going to
keep that footing. Got to keep that footing all the way through.
Caitlin Tui. Caitlin Tui, a 3-time Nike Cross Nationals champion, winning by less than a second over Taylor Ewart. And Sydney Thorvaldsen will finish in third. A second between places 1, 2, and 3.
Taylor and Sydney really made her work for it and made an exciting race out there today. Wow, that was incredible. now we just get to watch the carnage. Just like come in, toppling over one another.
I think you enjoy that too much.
It's hard. It's so funny. I did the same thing at the regional meet. There's puke, there's spit. It's just disgusting and hilarious.
So now about a minute behind the leaders. Now we see really the team battle begin to play out right here.
Yeah, this is where the team victory is made right here. You have your top gun, your low stick, but then really matters where 3, 4, 5 finish.
And look at this, right around 18:45, about 10 seconds from now, we're going to see a big group crossing through of team scorers.
I love to see this. I've seen a couple now, athletes from different schools helping competitors get out of the way if they're struggling once they cross the finish line. Someone from a different school putting an arm around him, lifting him up, and kind of carrying him to the side. It's really a cool camaraderie thing as a good sportsman that you see out here with cross-country runners.
Well, the line they always use for this event is finish on empty, and I think for a lot of these young women, it's the realization as they come across the line that a very long but very successful cross-country season has come to an end in these rainy and cold conditions at Glendoveer. The team title's still up for grabs, and keep watching for those 4th and 5th runners from the respective top teams. Again, Kinetic was leading through the 2-mile mark. We'll await official results here when we have the final results scored from the timers, and then bring the top 3 individual finishers and the top 3 teams to the stage for trophy presentations. But nearing now 20 minutes in, still waiting for those last runners to come across the line here at Nike Cross National. Shot here of the finish line and folks regrouping.
A lot of muddy, sweaty, wet hugs going on out there.
We see Chris Derrick there in the masses. We'll get him shortly for a few interviews as we await the official results.
You can see literally the steam coming off of these athletes. It's incredible. They're warm from running. I'm not thinking about hopping in that community race just to warm up here. It's the worst just standing. It's much warmer when you're running around.
One of the things to watch, we mentioned at the mile mark, we had a couple of the New York teams on the...
All right, first before we introduce them, how about a hand for all of our girls finishers today? And we'll celebrate the All-American status at the awards ceremony later on tonight, but we're going to honor these top 3 finishers here. First, please congratulate our 3rd place finisher, Sydney Thorvaldsen. The 2019 NXN runner-up, Taylor Ewart. And our 2019 NXN champion, the first ever to win this event 3 times. Congratulations to Caitlin Toohey.
Let's go, Caitlin!
Caitlin, why don't you step forward here for a second, and obviously this was a race that was important to you, coming with a chance to win 3 straight. A little different strategy this year, and you made it exciting at the end.
Yeah, this year, I don't know, I was really stressed out before the race, and it kind of affected how I felt during the race, but I'm just really happy that I was able to mentally tough it out the last 200 meters, because I was really hurting.
And you've been here several times, the last 3 obviously victorious, but on behalf of these other 2 young ladies behind you, this was the toughest win because this was the toughest field you've ever had to face, hasn't it?
By far, all the women who competed today are just phenomenal athletes, and it's really motivating coming out here the whole weekend and seeing everyone and seeing all the the teams. So I was really happy that I was able to meet all those girls this weekend because, like I said, they're all phenomenal athletes and I made a lot of friends.
On behalf of everyone here at NXN, thanks for coming out here every year. Thanks for putting on a great show, and congratulations, 3 straight wins.
Thank you.
Caitlin Toohey, winner of our 2019 NXN Championship.
People nearby, and that had to be a bit concerning, I'm sure. When she looked like at 2 mile marks, she picked up the pace, looked stronger, began to pull away, and then they reeled her back in again. She threw another look, and once again, I'm sure she was thinking, what's going on here? But even though it was her 3rd title, it also felt very, very sweet because it was clearly her biggest challenge, and she handled it very well.
All right, we're bringing up on stage in alphabetical order our top 3 finishers. Central Oregon, and Niwot. And Colleen is back for trophies. And for our top 3 teams, before we present you guys the top 3 awards, will you please congratulate this crowd for being out here to support you? All right. Our 3rd place finishers with 171 points. Niwot. Congratulations to one of our at-large teams this year. Performed very, very well in finishing in 3rd. The 2019 Nike Cross National runners-up with 160 points. Central Oregon. The 2019 Nike Cross National Champions with 78 points. Kinetic.
That's how it's done when you're leaving.